Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles.
My name's Kirk. Here for some awful Thursday night football.
We promise we won't take too much of your time.
Because the game already did.
The Denver Broncos defeat the New Orleans Saints 33-10 in New Orleans on Drew Brees' Ring of Honor Day.
Picked a bad night, Drew.
Should have called it. When Derek Carr was down, 2 offensive linemen down, Shaheed, Olave both down.
Yeah.
You should have just
rescheduled. Let's wait until we have a better game when we're playing the Panthers or something.
Exactly. You know? About the only team that could happen to.
Right.
The story of the night is just the Saints' futility. This was bad.
Ugh.
And especially the perception of a huge plummet because of how hyped people were.
Yep.
After week 2.
I warned everybody.
Yeah. Here's a stat for you. 91 points in the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The stat you hated.
I hated it.
86 in the next 5. That's the Saints offense scoring. There's a couple special teams plays there, but yeah.
A Super Bowl contender.
Richard Sherman said the Saints defense is playing like a team that wants to get their coach fired.
Yep. And he's going to get fired, if not
Dennis
middle of the
Allen's
season, by the end. I mean, right now it's injuries. Shaheed's gone. Olave's hurt. Mm-hmm. Carr's hurt. The linemen are hurt. Everybody's hurt.
Yep.
So, not really his fault, but, you know.
Yeah. Spencer Rattler just doesn't look NFL
He's not
capable.
Ready. Yeah.
You know, I feel like people had a little bit of hype over it last week. That game against the Buccaneers was nuts.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, it was defensive interceptions, courtesy of Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Where in the middle part of the game where Baker wasn't orchestrating a blowout and he was orchestrating a collapse.
Yeah.
Interesting
Just
game.
Tipped passes, picked off and like then 3 times in a row.
Yeah. And people like Spencer Rattler came back from 21. One of them was a punt return.
Yeah.
What did Spencer Rattler do to get that punt return touchdown by Rashid Shaheed?
His applause was impeccable. But yeah, I mean, Saints, they're pretty much doomed. They're dead in the water now.
Yeah. Broncos,
Sean Payton revenge.
4-3. Yeah, Sean Payton's revenge. You know he wanted this score to be even higher.
Oh yeah.
But Bo Nix, I mean,
I don't want to see this team in the playoffs. Yeah. Just they're so boring.
I don't think they will be. I mean, Bo Nix on screen doesn't match even the mediocre stats.
Oh, yeah.
Like 16 for 26, 164 yards, 75 yards rushing. Like most of the Bo Nix success, quote unquote, is happening because he's scrambling for his life.
Yep.
And one little nick or knack or injury that happens to every quarterback, and that part of his game is gone. And that offense won't be able to get a first down.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, he cannot throw the ball. He is so bad.
Especially early in the game.
Yeah.
Like some of those throws, like between 2 receivers that are wide open.
That one's going to be memed.
Yeah.
That one's going to be memed. But there was also, I mean, he threw a pick 6, or not pick 6, but could have been.
Yeah, Matthew dropped
near the end of the half. That was definitely going to be a long return.
Oh, yeah.
He threw a couple other passes that should have been picked. I mean, he just got lucky. The running game was good. Javonte Williams, 14 carries, 88 yards.
Yeah. That's when I was surprised. I'm like, you're playing the Broncos. You just stuff the box and just make sure they can't run. I don't know what the Saints were thinking with this game.
They were thinking, let's get Dennis Allen fired.
We've had him too long. Let's just get rid of him. Yeah, Javonte Williams had a good game. There were some open holes for him. And, you know, Nick scrambled around, but just watching him live, because I haven't watched too many Broncos games live like that.
Yeah.
Anything down the field is not on target.
Yeah.
It's a miracle if it's actually a catch.
It looks exactly like it looked at Auburn. It looks exactly like it looked at Oregon. And if you are a quarterback playing 2 years past your senior year, you should be putting up numbers. And he still looked bad in his 6th year starting in college. And he now looks like this. He should be ready for the NFL. He's played 2 more years than anyone else.
He's 2 years younger than Sam Darnold, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, that's where he's at.
I mean, he's
like,
older than Anthony Richardson and most of these
rookies, second-year players.
Definitely older than all the people he was drafted with.
Trevor Lawrence age, I guess, probably around there.
Honestly, Bo Nix, 5-letter names don't work out in the NFL, except for Ty Law.
Ty Law worked.
I forgot about that.
The nemesis of Peyton Manning.
Those were great years.
Yeah, it was.
Or when it was Bill Belichick versus Peyton Manning, not as much Tom Brady versus Peyton.
Yeah.
Those were good football years.
I know.
This should tell you all you need to know about Thursday Night Football.
This game was so bad.
We ran out of things to talk about already from Broncos Saints. Started talking about Ty Law.
I mean, probably the first time we've been like Thursday night where we actually turned it to baseball.
Yep,
it was
we did.
Bad game. Just please don't put the Broncos in the playoffs. Somebody keep beating this team. I don't want to watch this team there. They're not good enough. Defense is fine, but not good enough.
Well, let's get to week 7.
Yeah,
please.
please.
Good game.
It's a good week.
Mukilteo Football Show. The show is football, everything, NFL history, legacy, ups and downs of a season. We got shows Sunday, Monday, and Thursday after the primetime games. Follow us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so I think we have 4 really good games to talk about here. We got Lions-Vikings. Mm-hmm. We got the Super Bowl rematch, Chiefs-49ers. We got Texans-Packers, which I know you were especially excited.
Oh, yeah, I love that game.
And then we got, on Monday, Buccaneers versus the Ravens, which is a good one.
How is only one of these games in the prime time?
Right, yeah.
Come on, NFL.
Yeah, so what is Sunday Night Football? It's not Chiefs-49ers.
I don't know what it is, but how it's not Chiefs-49ers.
It's Jets. I know the Jets are in it.
Oh, God. Gotta watch another Jets game.
I think it might be Jets-Steelers. I'll check that out for you.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the Jets and the Bills. I think we just got to start the podcast with these 2 big wide receiver trades.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, longtime Rodgers partner, traded from the Raiders to the New York Jets. It's for a 3rd round, conditional 2nd round. It can be a 2nd round based on either Adams being 1st or 2nd team All Pro
or
an AFC title appearance.
Yeah. I mean, this is, kind of everybody kind of expected this, especially once Carr went down. The Saints was the other bargainer in the pool. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of this. Yeah. I don't know why. It's just becoming too much of Aaron Rodgers' team. I mean, this is going to be just Devontae Adams is going to get a ton of targets. He's going to get like 15 targets the second he steps on the field. That's the only guy Aaron Rodgers is going to look at. And, Hackett's not going to do anything different. He's not even calling the plays anymore. What is he doing? He's the offensive coordinator. He's not even calling plays. This guy.
And there's all these, on Monday they had all these like illegal formation penalties, which that's like the one thing that Hackett is probably responsible for.
I know you're more hyped about this trade.
I am. I think I'm usually not a quarterback to a receiver mid-season. You got to have respect for how hard football is. This isn't basketball or baseball. It's not plug and play. But this is a different situation. Aaron Rodgers has thrown 68 touchdowns to Devontae Adams. That's more than he threw to Jordy Nelson, 65.
Yeah.
More than he threw to Randall Cobb, 45.
Okay.
Threw 38 to Greg Jennings, by the way. But, I mean, he has always had some special connection with Devontae Adams. And the reason I think that this could work is because I think there is a place for Devontae Adams to go. And that's Mike Williams' spot specifically.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, keep doing your thing. Keep being Bambi out there, you little baby. Fantasy owner Garrett Wilson out here.
Yeah. If it's designed to him, he's good.
Listen, Bambi Wilson, he's not going to take a hit. He's not going to run a second route. He's got to be the primary target. He's becoming more of like a gadget receiver.
Yeah.
I'm way down on Garrett Wilson, but I think if Devontae Adams can just do all the Mike Williams stuff and Garrett Wilson can keep doing what he's doing in a little bit less of a pressure situation, be more of a J.J. Stokes than a Jerry Rice, that's fine.
Yeah.
There could be something here, but I mean, I don't know.
My thing is, was it going to matter because they can't block?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Aaron Rodgers isn't getting time back there anyways. I'm expecting a bunch of back shoulder throws to Devontae. He's going to get his stats, but does it accumulate to wins? And how long does Garrett Wilson not be upset that everything's going to Adams? How long does Breece Hall stay on board and be like, dude, like, what the hell? Like, you're audible and out of my 1-yard touchdown run to Adams again.
Yeah. The dysfunction is the hard thing to get behind.
Yeah.
Like, we're 2 weeks back-to-back with wild swings. And when upper management is firing people and then bringing in new people, external sources such as Devontae Adams, at the whim of Aaron Rodgers, who had he was shocked Robert Saleh was fired. Like, I think in the end, even though Aaron Rodgers is obviously the one doing all this stuff, he will say that he wasn't, and the Jets will fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually this season will fail. There will be a little boost to keep everybody around, to keep them kind of happy.
We just got to get to the new year.
Yeah, this team's got 500 written all over them. Right. Not going to win a playoff game.
What about Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills?
I'm liking this one.
Yeah?
I like this one.
Okay.
Mostly the Bills needed a number one, but also because every time Amari Cooper gets traded to a team, he does fantastic. It's like his go-to.
He's about the only receiver I can ever think of making that work.
Yeah. For some reason, he gets traded from the Raiders to Dallas, crushes it.
That's like
traded from Dallas to the Browns, crushes it.
Those are like two of the three like non-training camp receiver trades that worked out to me that I've ever heard of.
And it just like he's a very good outside. He's not slot, but the Bills need a guy out there running those deep routes, those sidelines. Yeah. And he's very good at just, late hands. He catches the ball on the sidelines, good with his toes. Like, Josh Allen's really going to like having Amari Cooper around.
I don't think that this or the Adams trade will be good for fantasy. I just don't. You have to respect how hard it is to learn an offense and integrate an offense. But I do think it's good for the Bills, and I think it's kind of interesting. The Bills, they were kind of pitching us on this, like, we are all one. We are the Borg, collective from Star Trek.
Yeah.
But now we need a star. It's only been 3 weeks.
Right.
But here's another thing. Did they do this to keep Amari Cooper away from the Chiefs?
Maybe partly.
Because they don't need Amari Cooper to win the AFC East.
No.
I don't think.
Yeah,
they need Amari Cooper to beat the Chiefs. They need Amari Cooper to not beat them while on the Chiefs. Like, if that's the only reason they did it, to keep Amari Cooper off the Chiefs, success.
Yep, right. That's all it was. It's a success. I think he runs good deep routes. He's going to make safety stay responsibly deep, and that's going to help Knox and Kincaid open up more.
Shakir.
As the tight ends. And Shakir's coming back, too. So, like, them running underneath crossing routes and these little outs and ins and just keep getting Cooper down the sideline. Eventually, that'll break 1-2 times,
I really like Shakir and Coleman. And I think they will both have more yards than Amari Cooper.
Oh, I'm not a Coleman fan.
You're not a Coleman fan?
He got hit in the back of the head. He's down on my list.
Okay. Well, I'm a bigger fan of Shakir, but I also like Coleman. I think they will both have more yards than Cooper from here forward, but they will have Amari Cooper to thank for it.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I think.
He's going to draw coverage.
Yeah.
And I think that's his only role, was to draw coverage and not go to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and make big plays. Good job, Bills.
Yes, well done. Well done.
All right, let's get to these games. Fun games.
God, it's awesome week of football, man.
Last year, we got a couple teams playing for the undefeated title. We did not have a team get to 6-0 last year. Jets beat the Eagles right at the end there. I don't think we had a 6-0 team in 2022. I think it's been a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, but we have two teams striving for it this week. The Vikings and the Chiefs coming off their bye. And they both face tough teams.
Yes, they do.
The Vikings are at home, but marching into town is the newly hot, newly minted, with a skull of Jerry Jones on a on a motorbike. Detroit Lions.
Oh man, fantastic win by the Lions last week.
The Vikings are favored by 1.5. So at home.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for the Vikings. The way the Lions are rolling. I mean, I am so impressed with the Lions offense. And just the plays they're dialing up, throwing hook and ladders to linemen.
Love hook and ladders.
I'm just like,
I wish that play would have counted to Penei Sewell.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Like, they got so many tricks up their sleeve, and just the 1-2 punch. They're not even using Gibbs, really.
Yeah,
they're not even using him yet. Yeah. And just Montgomery's pounding it down your mouth. If you get tired, they're gonna put Gibbs in there. You have to worry about St. Brown, and now you have to worry about trick plays. Like, unless you can pressure Jared Goff, you're doomed. Luckily, the Vikings can pressure a quarterback.
Yeah. I was going to say, this may be the best possible offense versus defense matchup that we could have in week 7.
Yeah.
The Lions are red hot for all the reasons you said, but the Vikings defense and Brian Flores, like I've seen multiple very, very smart NFL people, they will talk about a team, but if they've played the Vikings, they're just throwing that data out.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings are that good. Like, okay, that was Brian Flores. Forget about that.
This won't help us going forward.
This defense is shredding people. And these two teams have the 2 best point differentials in the league.
Ooh.
Lions plus 63, Vikings plus 60. And that's because of the Lions offense and the Vikings defense.
Yeah. And like, some people are wanting to say, they're putting the Vikings up there for good accordance. But like they've beaten some good teams.
Like the Vikings have?
Yeah. Beating the Niners, beating the Texans,
Packers.
beating the Packers. Like they're nothing to sneeze at. I feel like most people are leaning Lions on this game. But if I've seen a lot of really good defenses face really, really hot offenses. And when that battle clashes, usually the defense wins. Mm-hmm. Usually the defense beats the number one defense beats the number one offense. Mm-hmm. So I'm slightly liking the Vikings more, but I'm also I'm still not fully believing Sam Darnold can keep this up for a full season.
Well, what is going to happen on the other side of the ball? Because it's Darnold, but the Lions' defense is, they're already struggling, and they lost their best player, Aiden Hutchinson, for the season.
Yes.
People are saying, Sam Darnold, can he keep it up? He didn't keep it up in week 5 against the Jets.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too early for people, but I know they won the game, but he was 14 for 31, 179 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and it didn't look that good.
Yeah.
It was bad. Sam Darnold played a horrible week 5. So we've already seen him collapse, and they still won, which you might say good, but you also could say, does that continue?
When they lose the run game, Aaron Jones has been banged up, which we all knew was going to come.
Yep.
And now they've traded for Cam Akers, which is
that's 2 yards a carry. Cam Akers is the worst running back in the league. How did he
when the balance isn't there, it's tough to keep relying on Sam Darnold's arm. Yes, you've got Jefferson, but when you become one dimensional, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Darnold. Yeah. But this is the Lions. Everybody's saying their defense has been holding up, doing great, whatever. But Hutch goes down.
Yeah.
And now what's this team really look like?
And don't give me any numbers about the Lions, because those all include Hutchinson.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Lions are blank against the blank against the blank. What are you talking about, dude? They don't have Hutchinson now.
Right.
And that was their best pass. They already have a shaky pass rush. Their corners are pass interference machines. So I kind of call this a wash. I think that I'm concerned about Sam Darnold, but this is about the easiest defense he can face right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is a weird game.
But Lions, please, if you're listening,
which I know you are. Dan Campbell's a big fan.
I've heard rumors that they're thinking about trading for Hassan Reddick. Don't do it.
He's
going to ruin your clubhouse.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Please, Lord, don't do it. Campbell's smarter than that. I don't know if the GM's smarter than that. Just don't bring him in. Don't waste a pick on that. Just stick with what you have. You got a good team unit. The locker room's good.
All right, time to pick. Who are you picking? Lions, Vikings in the Minnesota Dome. Aesthetically pleasing field. One of the most aesthetically pleasing fields, along with the Saints Superdome. Sorry we couldn't give you a game today, but it's a very aesthetically pleasing field.
Yeah.
Who are you picking?
Like I was saying, I think good defense beats good offense. So I think I'm going Vikings. Vikings at home, and I think most people would be shocked by that. The Vikings actually getting to 6-0, beating the Lions. But I also think the Lions might need another piece of humble pie again.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings keep on rolling, and we're just like, holy crap, this defense is fantastic. And until I'm proven otherwise, I'm all in on Brian Flores.
I'm also Vikings. I saw what Brian Flores did to Aaron Rodgers. I saw what Brian Flores did to C.J. Stroud. I saw what Brian Flores did to the Kyle Shanahan offense. Jared Goff ain't nothing above them. I know we're doing all these crazy hook and ladders and stuff and a great offensive line. Jared Goff will be baffled, and as long as the Vikings can put up a semblance of needing the Lions to throw, that's what. If the Vikings can keep it so that the Lions need to throw, they will win. I'm picking Vikings.
Remember how the Lions lost their game? It was against Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. Goff got a ton of pressures and had to throw the ball all game. Yeah. Yep. So, that's the recipe.
All right, we got 3 other good games here, all interconference games. So AFC versus NFC, all potential Super Bowls.
Oh.
And one of them was the Super Bowl. Last year, as well as 4 years ago, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Santa Clara to play the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are favored by 1.5.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. That is true.
Holy crap. The disrespect.
I know. And Mahomes / Andy Reid have played Kyle Shanahan 4 times in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
2 of those, of course, were Super Bowls. They're 4-0. They've never lost to the 49ers.
But they're not favored.
10-point comebacks in both Super Bowls. And in the regular season, 2018 and 2022, the Chiefs blew out the 49ers.
Yeah.
It's after a bye. Andy Reid's 21-4 after the bye. I mean, not to tip my hand, but come on.
Right?
I'm betting Chiefs here. Come on.
Just this overrated, the anti-hype of they don't have receivers. And I think this is just coming from fantasy football.
Maybe.
People are just like, why isn't Mahomes putting up the stats that he should? Who's he actually throwing to? Who's scoring these touchdowns? Who cares? They know how to win games. If it goes to Juju this game, fine. If it has to go to Justin Watson, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like, okay, Rashee Rice is great, right?
Yeah.
Sure. He got hurt. If Rashee Rice was drafted and played on the Jets, we wouldn't know who he is. Isaiah Pacheco, great guy. If he went to the Saints, we wouldn't know who he is.
Right.
There's a reason for that.
Would have saw him tonight, though.
yeah, with Jamal Williams, who was scoring 21 touchdowns with the Lions, and now he's like the backup running back tomorrow. We don't even think about him.
Right? I mean, the Chiefs know how to game plan. They know what Shanahan has to offer. And the problem is that the Niners defense isn't as good as it was last year.
Yeah.
There's problems there. People keep forgetting Greenlaw's out. Greenlaw got hurt in that Super Bowl. He hasn't come back yet.
And they miss him.
He's very important to that team.
And his replacements, whoever is replacing him, they look bad.
Yeah, defensive line's banged up. It's Bosa and like nobody.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs know how to bait Bosa into the wrong spots.
Yeah.
Just watch the Super Bowl clips. You just watch Bosa in a lot of those clips and watch how well he gets screwed on a lot of these plays. They're focused on him. We're going to keep making him make wrong decisions. And they're going to do the same thing. I don't care if it's in San Francisco. The Chiefs know how to win games.
It's in Santa Clara.
Okay, yeah. Not technically.
I always have to point that out. You phonies.
Yeah.
Phonies.
I mean, you cannot have the Chiefs be an underdog. They're the 2-time Super Bowl championship. And they haven't lost a friggin' game this season. I don't know how the hell they are the underdogs. That baffles me.
Yeah. I better double check it because it's baffling me so much. Let's just double check that live while you make your pick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to talk Niners a little bit.
Okay.
And I got to, I hate to say it. Brock Purdy's okay. He's pretty good, okay?
Okay, there we go.
He's not elite. But he's not bottom of the barrel where I was putting him. I was putting him down to like Bo Nix level here.
Yeah, you were thinking he couldn't do.
He's not that bad. He's done well this year. He's that pass to Kittle last week on the sideline second half, right at the pylon. That was a great pass.
That was.
He's finding open receivers. He knows how to work the system. He's decent in the pocket. He's a pretty good quarterback. He can start in the NFL. I'm done just being like he's the worst guy ever. I still don't like him, but he's not as bad as I made him out to be.
I'm glad that's you're coming around to that.
Yeah. Finally.
He's got a little something.
Yeah.
That Garoppolo never had. Kaepernick never had. He's the first 49er quarterback in a while.
He's a football player. He's not so analytical about it, and I think that's what Shanahan likes him. He can improvise a little bit. I'm worried about Mason, kind of got banged up. He's got a shoulder problem. If you have to actually go into the well of running backs there, I'm a little concerned, especially against the Chiefs. And then, pressure up the middle from Chris Jones, that's going to affect Purdy. And, I mean, I haven't seen the Niners offense really, really click. Mm-hmm. They've had good moments, and second half, they have not adjusted or done anything at second halves this whole season. So I'm very concerned about that as well. But, this Niners team is not as bad as their record says. I do think this is still a playoff team. People are just like dogging this team. 3-3, what are you doing? You guys can't do anything. Yeah, they're okay. Even if they lose this game, they're fine.
Yeah, they got more Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals on the board. I know they lost the Cardinals, but they ain't losing next time.
Right. Yeah.
So, 49ers are a favorite. I had to double check that. So
yeah, I think we're probably both going Chiefs.
We're both going Chiefs.
Yeah.
I just cannot pick against Andy Reid on a bye against it's the 49ers defense like you just explained. I buy into all that.
They're hurt, and Chiefs defense isn't. Don't forget about the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, by the way, that's maybe the best defense in the league outside of the Vikings.
And nobody's talking about it. God, it's beautiful.
If the Chiefs were to three-peat, it would be a defensive story.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, they absolutely were the story this season last year, and so far they're the story this season too. Yeah, put more respect on Chris Jones and
Spags.
Yeah, and just all the good players they have there. Justin Reed,
and,
McDuffie,
yeah.
Willie Gay is gone, but
these guys should
Bolton.
be household names by now.
Yeah,
and they're not.
They should,
but there's only so many people you can talk about on the Chiefs. So.
Yeah, maybe if one of them started dating Sabrina Carpenter or Olivia Rodrigo or some star, we could kind of get.
Kelsey's taking a couple of these guys on double dates.
Yeah.
So
you have an in. You have an in.
You have an in.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about another good one, which I think is also an interesting interconference matchup. Was the Houston Texans, who are 5-1, by the way,
right,
going into the Lambeau Field for the Green Bay Packers, who are 4-2. This is the 6th ever matchup between the Texans and the Packers. Packers are 4-1.
Wow. Well, yeah, Texans haven't had the greatest franchise run.
Yeah, and Packers are favored 2.5 in this game.
Oh, that's kind of surprising. Yeah. Texans, it really sucks that Nico Collins isn't in this game. I wish the Texans offense was at full strength so they don't have the excuse of, we didn't have Nico.
Tank Dell could be stepping up.
Tank Dell's getting in there.
Warming back up.
Diggs, haven't heard a peep out of him. Fantastic. Whoever's his PR guy right now is doing a great job. He's like,
they're 5-1, like I
he's
said.
like, just shut up, do your job, don't complain. You're getting targets, you're scoring touchdowns.
The diva wide receiver is always good in that first year.
Yeah, right. In the first year, because he's trying to be the suck up. Yeah. Stroud hasn't really been doing as well as he did last year. He's throwing more interceptions, but I also think he's taking more shots. He's still a fantastic quarterback. Just watch that guy in the pocket. I mean, he is a veteran out there, and it's hard to believe it's his second season. That it's really, really hard when you watch him and you're just like, it feels like this guy's been around forever.
Yeah. And it's like the more interceptions, less touchdowns. I mean, he's got 10 touchdowns, 1,600 yards. But it's better when you watch it.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud just looks like he is an elite quarterback in this league, blooming and blossoming. It doesn't look like it's scheme purely. Like, it doesn't look like he's like a Brock Purdy or even a Jordan Love. No offense to those guys, or Jared Goff, but it seems like he's going to have this. Yeah. And it would be really cool to see him go in there with Nico and light it up. But,
I know, right?
But maybe he will go in there anyway.
With Tank Dell,
what Stroud needs is a signature performance this year.
This is his chance.
This is a great chance at that, especially with Jordan Love on the other side, who's another quarterback who's getting similar hype to CJ Stroud. Though I think Love is a system, more of a system. You know, that is not an insult in this day and age.
Oh yeah, it's fine. You are a competent quarterback. Yeah, that's good.
Exactly. Like Bo Nix could not do this.
Yeah,
a lot of quarterbacks couldn't do it.
Right. The game you watched tonight, you couldn't do that. Yeah, we didn't see it.
Yeah. Love's got 12 touchdowns and 4 starts.
Yeah, Love slings it. He friggin' slings it, and I still am completely undecided on who their number one receiver is. I think I'm leaning more Jaden Reed just because of stats wise, but I'm still like, maybe it's Dobbs, maybe it is Watson. I
think their most talented receiver is Watson, but he's not that.
He's never healthy.
He never healthy. He's not the wide receiver one. I think Reed is the guy who's got Jordan Love's
his attention. Yeah.
I mean, Romeo Dobbs was mad about something, and it wasn't Juliet Dobbs. I'm waiting to put that joke in.
I love that.
But he scored 2 touchdowns now. He's a little happy. Diggs is happy. Dobbs is happy. Let's play some football.
Yeah, right. And he's got his opportunity. I think he was a little mad that Wicks did a couple things, but now Wicks is kind of hurt. He came out of nowhere. Kraft is a good tight end. He doesn't do anything special. He just runs his routes. He knows where to go.
Packers just are a Swiss Army knife. I mean, we didn't even mention Josh Jacobs, who's been playing great.
Who can do fantastic.
Yeah.
I do think this is going to come down to whose defense is better. The Packers, I feel like they're just kind of very inconsistent. Yeah. I think Xavier McKinney's been taking a lot of the highlights because he got all the picks week after week after week. But they're still kind of bleeding points. they're not really like shutting anybody down, like dominating games. It's still Love has to just keep scoring and scoring and scoring. That's how they've been winning. I've been waiting for that defense to have a signature moment. I'm more happy with the Texans defense. We said Chiefs defense was underrated. Texans defense isn't even getting talked about.
I'm still having a hard time believing it.
It's good.
Okay.
Darnell Hunter's a great vet to have with Will Anderson.
Daniil Hunter.
Daniil. And I would say do something. I don't know your name, but you've been around
I know,
a while,
you've been a while.
and I should know your name. That one's on me. He's been leading that group. D'Amico Ryans is a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
He's got these guys flying around. That defense has been winning them games more than Stroud has. He's kept them in games long enough for Stroud to do what he needs to do.
They've got talent in the right spots.
Yeah.
The edges and the corners.
Yeah. I like the way that he's been building that unit, and it's definitely like nobody's even talking about it. It baffles me.
So are you picking Texans to go into Lambeau Field and pull it out?
You know, I mean, I was kind of thinking that heading in here, but Jordan Love is such a wild card. Mm-hmm. Like, Matt LaFleur calls a good game.
Yeah, he does.
But Jordan Love, you never really know what he's going to do. He is like more Brett Favre than Aaron Rodgers ever was. Like Jordan Love is all over the place. Sure, he can throw 3 picks, but he'll also throw 4 touchdowns. You said he had 12 in like 4 games here?
Yeah.
Like this guy slings it. He's not scared of anything.
I do like that. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. And Texans haven't been tested that way. Well, like quarterbacks that they have played, they really haven't been tested with that like gunslinging quarterback. So I think and Packers at home. I love Packers at home. So I'm leaning Packers. I'm going Green Bay.
I'm taking the Texans.
Okay.
And this is a CJ Stroud signature moment. What I'm watching on the screen does not line up with the statistics, and it's just going to. Now, Stroud is going to have like a 4 or 5 touchdown day or something big. It's going to be Tank Dell. It's going to be, Mixon's back. That's a big deal for this offense.
Huge, yeah.
Without Mixon was a problem.
Yeah.
And we're kind of looking at that and throwing it in as you can't look at the non-Mixon games and try to extrapolate that data into what's going to happen week 7 because he is there now. It's 77 degrees it's going to be.
Okay, so it's not an actual
So it's not,
game.
this is not like, ooh, too cold.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, you're going to light it up. I'm taking Texans.
I am expecting a shootout.
Nice.
I'm not expecting this to be low-scoring field goals. I'm expecting high-scoring. Whatever the over is, pick it.
we need more good quarterbacks in the NFL. Let's cheer these two and prop these two up.
Yep. Let's go.
All right, last game, Baltimore Ravens 4-2 after starting 0-2.
Right.
Traveled to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are also 4-2. Ravens are the road favorites by 3.5. Which I think is a lot of respect for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and just the steamroll effect that maybe the Ravens are the best team in the NFL right now.
Right. Despite the record, because they're 4-2, but they're playing like they're the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, because if you take the last 4 weeks, they're the best team, and that's about as far as we can remember.
It'd be like them and Lions. Like it would be like the best teams. Yeah.
This is the 8th time these two teams have ever played, Baltimore and Buccaneers. You just forget how little these interconference teams. Ravens have won 5 in a row.
Really?
And the last time the Buccaneers win is a game that I remember watching. It was 2002, in between the Ravens and Buccaneers Super Bowls. Ravens had Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Peter Bulware. That Ravens defense was still going great. The Bucs were in their Super Bowl year. Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, John Lynch.
Yeah.
And it was a game in which the offenses scored 9 points and the defenses scored 21 points.
Beautiful game.
And the Buccaneers pulled that off comfortably. They also had a safety in there too, so I guess 23 points. But yeah, how
do you remember that game?
No, I didn't remember it. When I was trying to find out how many times they had matched up on Pro Football Reference, I just kind of scanned the games.
Yeah.
But I remember watching this because I've always been like, NFL history, and I knew the 2000 Ravens and the 2002 Buccaneers. These defenses are legendary. Oh, yeah. I was like 14.
Okay, yeah. But
no, wait, how old was I?
You might have been. You're probably 15, 16.
Yeah, 15, 16.
Yeah.
But I've always had a reverence for NFL history, folks.
Yeah, back when the cover 2 was working like a charm.
Yep.
Oh, boys.
All right, do the Ravens just keep steamrolling here? I mean, good God.
Yeah, I mean, I have not seen Derrick Henry lose a step. He's 30 years old now. He's still just running and running and running. And, like, as long as Lamar's somewhat accurate, he'll find somebody. I mean, I haven't seen a Zay Flowers game in a while. But, you know, maybe it's Bateman this week. Maybe it's Likely. Maybe it's Andrews. It doesn't matter. As long as those two can get downfield and get you 200 yards rushing in a game, I don't know what you do.
The Bengals game was a Zay Flowers game.
Yeah.
He was all over the place.
And it's not like the Bucs defense is, like, good. Like, they've been bleeding points.
Yeah, they're really injured.
People are hurt.
Yeah.
So Baker's got to keep up and, like, score some points.
And that is, I mean, I know the Buccaneers just scored 51 points. Though that was against the Saints, who we just saw
give up 30
what
to
they
the
showed
Broncos.
themselves.
Yeah.
Honestly, that game was such a weird game. But Baker Mayfield is orchestrating a blowout and then collapsed like a dying star into a point where they're actually down for a little bit. And then the Saints were like, well, that's as much as we got. Yep. And then the blowout resumed. I've never seen a fan base leaving a 51-24 game less sure
like,
of their team.
Are we good?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Baltimore Ravens are just in another class over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think we're going to see that.
The only way Tampa wins this game is if the Baltimore has the classic fourth quarter collapse on defense, and Baker just puts up those numbers at the end. I just don't see it. The Ravens should be undefeated right now.
Yeah. Have you noticed like a Baker Mayfield like early game thing? Like, I mean, it happened against the Falcons that day, but it's happened a few other times. It seems like we're really passing the ball well in the first half, but kind of disappears in the second half.
Yeah, there's not many adjustments.
Yeah.
But Godwin and Evans, that's one of the best wide receiver duos in the league right now.
I mean, that's why this is happening too.
Yeah.
The Baker's finally got receivers who know what they're doing and play off each other well.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to get off to a hot start or have a hell of a comeback. Yeah. I mean, I think this is a Ravens stomping.
Yeah.
Unless I don't know, just Tampa's out. I just can't see them really pulling it together on Monday night. They got the hurricane thing. Maybe they just like drive something from that. The defense can find something in them to tackle Derrick Henry. I don't know.
It's just like so many years of the Buccaneers. They're 4-2, so they need to be 4-3. The Buccaneers gravitate to 500. it's
just they're always
that's Todd Bowles football,
right?
That's Todd Bowles football.
Yeah.
The Ravens they're the third team ever, or third team in this century. Sorry, third team in the 21st century to get 1,200 rushing yards in their first 6 games.
Ooh.
The other 2 teams are the 2019 Ravens and the 2006 Falcons.
Wow.
Michael Vick and Michael Turner.
Okay.
All 3 teams were 4-2. Anyway.
And it takes a scrambling quarterback.
It takes a scrambling quarterback. God, Lamar Jackson looks good.
I know.
He actually looks better than last year.
That's scary.
I don't know. Probably, honestly, probably won't win MVP because they don't like to do that. They don't like to repeat MVP unless...
They don't like it. His passing numbers aren't up that much, and as long as Henry stays healthy, they're going to give Henry a lot of the credit too.
Yeah, yep.
So, but the second Henry gets hurt, this team is going to fall apart.
Yeah.
I just predicted it. But this one's a Ravens win, I think.
Yeah, I feel the same about the Ravens as the 49ers. Your stars start to get hurt, you're going to crumble.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
All right, well, that was an anticlimactic one, but still a good game on paper, especially 4-2 Monday Night Football.
It's the first time I picked the Ravens all year, so they're gonna lose.
All right, well, week 7, bunch of good games. We'll be here to talk.
Good week.
My name is Miles.
I'm Kirk.
A good night.